Big fam, I have an idea. It's going to be every Friday, and it's going to be simple. It's called Phil's Fig Fridays. That's it. And I'm going to put out a new episode every Friday that's just a tour of what's going on here in the nursery. I will also post videos on top of that talking about best practices, tips, goals, etc. This is just a weekly recap of what's going on at Phil's Figs, Phil's Fig Fridays. All right, with the first inaugural Phil's Fig Friday, I got to package up an order and I got to root some cuttings. It is chilly outside. It is 45 in the greenhouse. So my plants are comfy, not warm. The only reason my cuttings are doing well in here is because I have them on a heat mat. And this generates a lot of warmth. It does get up into the high 70s and 80s in the greenhouse in the winter in the sunlight. My goal with that greenhouse is to passively heat it as much as possible. So I have these fig cuttings that I am hydrating and it helps them wake up after being in the fridge for a while. And I'm going to root all of them into a tray. These are Marseille Black VS. I ran out of this variety and I need more of it. Since I had to order these fig cuttings, I can't necessarily sell them this year unless they fruit for me and I can confirm the variety type. Sometimes the leaf pattern helps, but that's not always the case, so you got to be careful, especially if you're in the professional environment. So a lot of times if I buy cuttings, it is a multiple year investment for trees in the future. These are experimental cuttings that I got from a friend that specializes in sourdough bread. So shout out to you, Joe. I'm going to root these today as well. Okay, so I have these cuttings drying right now. And while I'm letting these dry, I got an order to fulfill for Amanda. So Amanda, let's get your order ready. So when I'm getting an order ready for fig cuttings, generally I'll take 3 to 4 nodes on a cutting, and that'll give ample space for rooting and leaf development. A cutting like this that I had purchased has 4 nodes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each node has a leaf on the top and a previous scar where the leaf was before, and below that you have these little dots. See each little dot? Here's a really good example. Those dots are where roots can come out and has rooting hormone. If you ever wanted to, and I'm going to score the bark, that is the cambium layer. If you want to root cuttings, you can also score the bark, and that would allow the rooting hormone to be exposed to the surface, and you can make roots from there as well. Tangential flight, let's go get those cuttings. My shears. Quick shout out to Destin, Texas Garden Guy. These shears, these Swiss-made Felcos, are freaking unbelievable. I can cut through a 1-inch cutting, no problem. Make sure to close the greenhouse door to keep everything nice and insulated. Now, Amanda wanted my Mount Etna type that is known as Brooklyn Park. And this is all I have left of it. And as you can see, I have nice scaffolding branches. And then I have some viable cuttings up here. I want to give her a nice cutting. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a terminal node at the end. She will be happy with this one. Woohoo! That's a beautiful cutting right there. My sap has really stopped flowing at this point with this cold weather. And I have a fully lignified cutting here. And I think she may appreciate this one as well. I think she only ordered 1, but let's give her a second. One of the hardiest figs you can find, Mount Etna. It's a really, really hardy variety. It's an early ripening variety. The thought behind it is that it grew on the mountainside of Mount Etna, this tall volcano in Sicily, where it gets very cold because of its elevation, despite being in Sicily. And they can survive really cold temperatures. So that's the thought behind any Mount Etna variety. They're known by their club-shaped leaves and their beautiful, dark, very sweet fruit. But I have the cuttings here, and let's get them wrapped up. My 2 cuttings here I'm going to write down what they are. So this variety is called Brooklyn Park, and I'll say Mount Etna. I have these two great cuttings. I use this paraffin wax to wrap them. Since I have a terminal bud at the end, I'm not going to wrap it. This piece is really important for moisture control, since cuttings with open wounds can't control their own moisture very well. And so I'm wrapping that tip and I'm tightening it, and I have one cutting down. Let's do the second cutting. I like 1 inch, but I bought a giant 12-pack of 1/2 inch, so I'm making do. Cinch it off at the end. It stretches really nicely and it insulates really well. Now, the second tier, cling seal. Really straightforward stuff, guys. Ooh. I'm gonna put both cuttings in this. So you want this nice and tight, guys. Have a nice wrapped cutting, tightly bound, and then I carefully apply the label. And this can be stored in a fridge for months, like months and months and months. I put it in a bag for shipping here, and then I'm going to put it in a manila folder, which you'll see in a moment. And then I have an invoice or a shipping label to go with the cutting as well. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And now we are going to root these cuttings. All right, so if you guys can see, I'm using a mixture of perlite and coconut coir. It's almost half and half, but really it's more coconut coir and then the perlite, and it's for good aeration and rooting. I'm going to zoom you out as far as I can if you guys can see me okay. And so I have these cuttings. And I got my trusty pile of rooting mix. And then right now I have a tray of 3x8s, and I also use a tray of 4x9s. The goal of the 4x9s is that I can root a cutting in this, and I can also keep it in this pot for when I sell it in the spring as a nursery tree. The 3x8s I will transfer into a larger 1-gallon pot. They are great for rooting. They provide great drainage, but they're also really, really good at maximizing space in my smaller greenhouse. Cuttings that I know that will not be finicky when transferring to a larger pot, I put in the 3x8s. Lots of Mount Etnas are resilient figs, so I'm going to use them in the 3x8s. If anyone has questions, I'll put a link in the video afterwards. I get my pots from Stu & Sons. Anything larger than my rooting pots, I try to recycle. So I try to reach out to landscaping companies because plastic is an issue and it's important to recycle. And it saves you money. I use rooting hormone. You don't have to, but it's a great way to hedge yourself. I'm using Clonex. Here's my cutting. And I'm going to take it up to the node here to get as close to the node as possible for rooting success. So I cut it right underneath that node. You can even cut even closer. See a little bit of exposure? And that'll encourage it to root at the base. Here's the leaf scar, and here are the new leaf buds on top, and the nodes underneath the leaf scar. And that's how you know it's facing up. This is a mid-branch cutting, so you can see that someone could cover this in wax. And I'm going to go ahead and score the bark a little bit. 2 ways I go about it. I do one long cut down the side to expose on both sides. And then I can do some scratches in here too. Make sure it's breaking through that lignified wood to expose the cambium layer. I got my little paintbrush that I took from my kids' play stuff. They were cool about it, I think. Now I'm applying the root hormone. This is Clonex. All of them seem to work pretty well, whether you're using the Bonide, the Fertilome, or there's one other one. But I just want to get that whole cambium layer covered and below the node covered. So now I have the rooting hormone on there. Clonex is nice because it's purple, you can't miss it. I use garden gloves sometimes, but I'm a very tactile person, so I really appreciate a good getting your hands dirty. Use this one cutting to make a nice placeholder for it. And insert the cutting. When I get about at least halfway in, I like to leave some room at the base down here for moisture control. And then I have this whole top part for it to grow. And I kind of expose about 1 to 2 nodes on top. So if you have a 3-node cutting, the first 2 can be covered and the last one on top. If you have a 4-node, I'll go 2 underneath and I'll do 2 on top. I make it nice and firm, but not cemented down, right? And that's it. That is the cutting right here. I'm gonna do the rest of these, but I really wanted to show you what I was doing this morning before I go to work. So I'll get that tray done. I'll show you the end result. And I'm glad you got to see what a cutting order looks like. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. Cuttings over here, and then I'm just going to label them real quick so I know what they are. I write words of affirmation, so I write love on all of my plant labels. And this just goes in the ground and constantly exposes the plants to this. But I really think it just creates positive vibes. So we're going with positive vibes on that one. But that's just been a habit of mine. I've done this maybe 1,000 times. It's just spreading the love. I put love on every single one of these plant labels, and it just goes in the dirt and stays with the fig tree. Got my plant labels, and easy as pie. And there you go. So it looks nothing like working in the greenhouse and getting some dirt on your face. That's how it goes. So, hey, I have this order all wrapped up. I'm going to go ahead and pack it up in a manila folder with a growing guide and send it out. For anyone curious, this is my growing guide. You can get it on philsfigs.com. If you scroll to the bottom, it'll say guides, and it's there as a PDF to download for free. It's just a step-by-step on how to go about rooting cuttings. And it doesn't even have to be from me. As you can see here, it's choosing the right time. If you have an existing fig tree, if you receive cuttings, how to select healthy cuttings. So go ahead and give it a look. Other fellow growers, go ahead and give it a look. And if you see anything that you would want people to know to edit or update, please let me know. I am all about crowdsourcing information, but I try to do a very thorough job here. And I want you guys to reach out with questions, comments, and I'm encouraging you to garden. All right, so enjoy. It's for free. It's a downloadable PDF on philsfigs.com. Figo Preto on the back. I'll go ahead and wrap these up, but it fits nicely in the envelope. I do fold in the thirds, but it fits nicely in the envelope. There you go. Wrap it up and send her out. All right, Fig Fam, you got to see my early morning routine on Phil's Fig Fridays, episode 1. And as always, figs and coffee. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you guys want to see more of. This winter is going to be a big focus on propagation. So send me your questions with propagating. So if you really enjoyed this, subscribe, like, check out philsfigs.com. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. And I will continue to make these videos for all of you. But until next time, happy Friday and enjoy your weekend.